So the question is, uh, let's see, discuss the emotional benefits for online social connection. So first, I'll tell you what that means for me, right? For me, that means that immediate access to people that'll have your back, right? So if I'm having a really rough day and I need somebody to say something to, right? Um, immediately I can hop online, I can get on Discord, I can talk to one of you guys, right? Uh, so the emotional benefit being, what's it called?
I was like,
It's like the reliability. That's not it.
like someone. Oh, what do you mean? Like you just trying to look for like someone to rely on? Like, that's what.
Yeah, like I'm obviously not saying it very well, but that's kind of the gist of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Repeat the question for me one more time.
okay,
Like
so
put two in together.
discuss the emotional benefits of online social connection. Instead of saying, let's meet up at this time or over here on the weekend or anything like that, it's more of a, hey, I need your help right now kind of thing, or um, like I can talk to you whenever I need to. Sure I could just call you or text you or whatever, but typically that's gonna end up being a let's meet up at this time or
Yeah.
meet me here, and it's not going to be as immediate as, hey man, this is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of that's kind of my answer.
All right. Yeah. If emotional, like through social media, it's just like it's an open question to
Not
me.
not social media, social connection.
Social connection. Are we talking about digitally or just in person contact?
Just like so, uh, online meetup discussing the emotional benefits of online social connection, right? So this
Mm.
is um like people will talk about like, oh, guys are always on their video games, right? And then guys will come back saying like, we're on our video games because I've known so and so 420 killer 69
Yeah.
for
It's like your
for
online friends or
6
your actual
years,
friends.
and I can trust him more than I can trust some of the people I know face to face.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, what's the emotional benefits of that sort of connection?
Mm-hmm. Hmm. But that can be put into anything, though, right? Like, let's say dating wise, or does it
Yeah,
have to only
yeah.
be through, or does it only have to be like you never met the person before, or it can be just through immediate of information between one another.
Well, another way I was thinking about taking it is like with COVID, right? Like we can't really go meet a whole lot of family and friends because we're restricted, and we're restricted a lot more to just our house, you know?
Hmm. Uh, I think it is a good thing.
Mm.
Most of the time, it's just like another advancement in communications, I guess. Like back then, probably hard to message somebody across the country when we know some people are like that
Right.
or that we know. I think there is some benefit to it, and I think it, like you mentioned earlier, like you have your online friends, which just can bring an emotional connection to where you trust the person, just from knowing them so well, and just from talking day to day.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just thinking on the question still. Just think of
Yeah, I
anything else.
mean,
Like,
it's a really open question, especially for, you know, like, you would not hear this question and think, oh, like, this is obviously for college.
Mhm. Um, it's like yeah, and there's those dating things about it too. And like you, it's kind of interesting because we kind of picked up these habits of how we treat each other with texting, right?
Mm,
And you get an emotional connection from like just typing in text. Just like to some people, they'll think there's more to it when you text and something.
right.
Like we can make it just simple drama. Maybe it's like questions, but you didn't mean it like that.
Yeah.
I think it's good that we have this advancement in our lives.
Mm,
It feels great. Yeah, like it's just one thing that we added to ourselves, and that's kind of like a disbursement information be. But having this connection with somebody that you can talk to and knowing that it's them on the other side is just like I guess the interesting factor. Like if from like you haven't talked to a friend for a week and then you just start hearing from them again, next thing you know, that serotonin is going through because you haven't talked to this person in a while, and you guys just go into a conversation just talking, like it's just
Right.
normal.
right.
And like you can go to different forums and you feel belong. I think it's good to have like a social circle around it through whether it be maybe social media or just long distance friends.
All right, so we're gonna discuss the emotional benefits of online social connection. All right.
Okay.
So for me, what I had told Ian is that for me, one of the emotional benefits is how immediate I can engage in conversation with you, right?
Right.
So like if I have a really bad day at work and I want to go to talk to somebody not
Uh-huh.
online, right? Typically
Makes it a lot harder.
That'll turn into, well, what if they don't text back, or if they don't answer the call, or they do and it ends up being like, oh, let's meet up tomorrow for lunch or dinner or whatever, and we'll talk about stuff then, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of my thing, and then I also told him that like if he wants to bring up another point, one of the other things that I was thinking I was going to bring up was like the emotional benefits of online social connection. Like that's really important, especially now with coronavirus, right? Because we're not allowed to go and see a whole lot of family or friends. We're not allowed to meet up as often as we would if it wasn't here, right? So a lot of our connections that way ends up being online.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the gist of what was said there. So what do you think an emotional benefit of online social connection is, or what's your thoughts on those?
Well, I'm going back to the quarantine thing.
Mm,
I think a lot of people mentally have been like in a screwed mindset because of this.
right.
And because of that, having that online, like, there's not a lot because you can't, obviously, you shouldn't be going to gatherings.
Mm,
So if you're online, it makes it a lot better to talk about stuff like that. It makes it easier, more, what's the word?
accessible.
Accessible, yeah.
All right. Okay.
So that was all I really thought about, to be honest with you.
Okay. What we're doing is discussing the emotional benefits of online social connection, all right? What I had told Ian and Lucas is, for me, what that means, like, one of the benefits is how immediate I can contact you, right? If I want to get a hold of you or Ian or Eric or Lucas, I can hop in Discord and it'll be rather immediate, right? Whereas if I was trying to get a hold of somebody that I know face to face, I would text them, call them, then there comes into question whether or not they answer, how long it takes for them to answer or call back, and if they do answer, does it turn into like, hey, let's meet up tomorrow for lunch or dinner and we'll discuss it then, kind of thing. And all of that's fine, but the immediate interaction that I would need if I had a really bad day at work is a lot more prominent through online interaction. And what I kind of told Ian as well is this can be either what your thoughts are on what I say or another emotional benefit, right?
Right.
So I told him one of the other things that I was thinking about bringing up is like what that means in the times of coronavirus, right? Because
Right.
for like we're not oh Jesus Christ, we're not allowed to go and hang out with family or friends as often as we normally would, right? Not necessarily not allowed, but you get what I'm saying. Like it's
Yeah.
much harder to do now because of coronavirus. So online interaction is that much more important because we don't get this interaction face to face anymore. And it's not so limited as well.
Right.
So what's your thoughts there?
Well, outside of Corona, like one of the biggest benefits of online interaction is usually the people you meet are a lot like you. When it comes to IRL like relationships, you either meet someone through somebody else, or like or you meet someone at work or at school or like at a restaurant. Like there are circumstances in which you meet someone and that person isn't always going to have your interests, which is a good thing. It's not bad to meet and be friends with people who are different than you. But a lot of the times when it comes to online interaction, like this Discord, perhaps, we all have one really big common thing together, and that's that how much we like to game. And when you find people in which have similar interests to you, the bond that you grow with these people usually tend to be stronger. And in a time, especially like Corona, where you can't see the people that you go to work with or you can't see the people you go to school with, a lot of the times you lose a lot of the closest that you have with them. Unless they're a really good friend, a lot of the times your relationship with somebody is built off of how much that you see them. Like a lot of my friends, quote unquote, from school, I was friends with them because I saw them every day. But because I don't anymore, a lot of those friendships have diminished. Well, unlike here, like you said, we're one, more accessible, especially now and outside of Corona. But two, at least we all have a common, if not multiple common interests. So we work together and bond better together, which is a stronger friendship in the long run. And those strong friendships that you build, no matter how many miles away, are really important because humans are social and social creatures can't go on being alone all the time. And especially in times like this, even though it sucks not to be able to hang out with your friends or see people sometimes, depending on the type of person you are, having the moments or hours where you can still laugh and have fun and be with people is important. And that's kind of the benefit that that this whole online thing gives. My mom was talking about it. We literally had this conversation. When she was a kid, they didn't have this.
Right.
And so going through a time like this, it'd be a really, really hard to exist because we're so social, because we don't have access to these things. Everybody's so accessible now that at least with online interaction, it makes it easier to just have friends and be happy in a sense.
Okay.
And all that jazz.
Okay. Dope. Yeah, Lucas had kind of touched on that as well. It's a lot easier to get interaction now as opposed to how it was, when our parents were kids.
Right.
But awesome. Thank you. I will stop the recording here in a second, and I'll be back in the Discord server.